Okay, here we are. It's NSKN Small Talk. I'm Kuba, and there is a special guest with me. Hi, David.
Hello.
So, me and David, we're going to talk about great games and stuff that David's been doing lately in his life, because there's been some changes in his life. But first, we're going to start with the news. The really big news is that as we're recording this, well, David, you do the honors.
Oh, thank you very much. As some of you might know, another great company beside NSKN that I work a lot with, Mindclash Games. And Mindclash Games' first game almost 3 years ago was Trickerion. And I had the privilege of being allowed to design a big box expansion for it. And that expansion is launching, when we're recording it, launching it in an hour and a half. So everybody's buzzing with excitement over here. And when I say over here, mostly over there, because the guys are in Budapest while I'm here in London. But yeah, it's been a lot of work for the past more than a year now, with since the game has been with them, to bring it up to their usual standards.
So what's the new? What's inside?
It's called Dalgard's Academy. Dalgard is the head illusionist who, in the first game, says, "I'm going to select my heir based on which of you makes the best show." So now, many years later, Dalgard has died, and in his last will, he said, "Okay, here, take my beautiful house, and please turn it into a school for young illusionists."
Okay.
And hence the name Dalgard's Academy, and it introduces a new worker, a new location, basically one more thing to do every round of the game.
Sounds great. So when you guys are watching this, and probably Trickerion has already been funded, knowing how David's games fund, how fast they fund. So keeping my fingers crossed for you, man. And what's more about the news? Origins show has just started. When we are recording it, started like 15 minutes ago, literally 15 minutes ago, because it started 10 a.m. Eastern time in US. And, we're there at 858 booth. So come and visit us. You can play David's Dice Settlers there. You can play Teotihuacan, where David actually designed the solo mode there. And you can also play Strawberry Studio games there, like Scarit, or the new ones, Little Monster That Came for Lunch and Stayed for Tea, or Black Skull Island. So these are the games that are there. And, speaking of, we're going to bring Black Skull Island Little Monster to Essen 2018 and PAX Unplugged 2018 in US. And both Dice Settlers and Teotihuacan are already in print. The Dice Settlers rule are already published on VGG. You will be able to find the link in the doobly-doo beneath the movie here. Teotihuacan rules will be published pretty much soon, I hope. And I'm really looking forward to Man vs. Meeple review of the game, because they will have the first final prototype, the first digital copy of the game, and they will hopefully soon show you how great game it is. So this is pretty much about the news when it comes to what we're doing right now. And okay, there is one more thing. Maybe it might interest you that in less than 3 weeks, on the 3rd of July, a new Kickstarter campaign by NSKN is launching. It's going to be Snowdonia Deluxe Master Set Edition, and it's going to contain everything that Snowdonia ever published, pretty much, because there will be like some single promos that were done for charity, for example, that we're not going to include in the box because of obvious reasons. And but there are going to be some new expansions inside, some great upgraded components. It's going to be a proper deluxe edition. There will be a separate pledge where you'll be able to buy only the new expansions as well. So it's going to be fun. Now, let's move to Talk of the Week. And having David on board, we need to ask him a few questions. Because, David, some time ago, was it like 6 months ago?
5.
5 months ago. 5 months ago, David made a very brave decision. He decided that he's not going to go back to his day-to-day job anymore. He's going to restart his life as a professional designer and developer, full-time job. And so 5 months, from this perspective, was it a good decision?
Well, I haven't starved to death yet, So it's definitely not been a bad decision.
But is it like your parents are sending your food, or not yet?
No.
That's right.
Everything.
So what does it take to make such a decision?
Mostly the realization that I am waking up in the morning and going into the office to do the software development keyboard pressing thing while I'm basically counting down the minutes to go home and work on the games.
Okay. So you knew that your real job is somewhere else, basically.
Yes. I've been treating it as a second job for the past year and a half already, and it got to a point where my so-called main job was a distraction from my second job.
Okay, so I understand that there is one thing to make such a mindset decision. Like, I would love to change it, but what do you need to have to actually do that? Because as you said, you don't want to starve.
I needed two things to be able to do that. First of all, I had one hit already. Anachrony with its 76 on BGG these days. We're into our fourth printing, I want to say. It's giving me not a London salary equivalent, but it's giving me a nice little bonus every year for the past 2 years. And it was getting to the point where it was like a noticeable bump in a how much can I spend on stuff. So that was step one. Step two is that I've been working in the industry for 3-4 years quite extensively now, and I tried to make friends and show to those friends that I am useful for stuff.
You certainly are. I mean, we're working together right now.
Exactly. So what happened is I promised myself many years ago that when my game royalties will exceed 50% of my software engineering salary, then I will quit. So last year, sitting at my big what you call it, insurance brokerage firm, doing my JavaScript charts of your risk and your total exposure, I was like, yeah, this is boring. Let's find. I used to like software engineering. Let's find a more exciting job. So I called up my old boss from many years ago, the first guy that gave me a job out here in London. Absolutely loved the guy, saying, "Hi, can I come back? Your company has grown a lot. Surely you can pay more now. Can I come back?" And he's like, yeah, we love you. Come back whenever. So I went back and I worked there for all of 4 days. I was like, oh crap, it's not the job I hate, it's the work. There's nothing to do here. It doesn't matter how cool the place is. I am always gonna be like, can I just go home and work on board games now? So I sat down, I went through how many games I'm working on or have come out or will come out soon, and can I reach that theoretical limit where I can quit? And the answer was not quite.
But you still decided to.
So this is where step two of making friends came into business. I sent out an email to all the publishers I have worked with over the past 4 years and was like, hi, do you think your life would be easier if I was a full-time game developer? If yes, please chip in X amount of money per month. In return, I will love you forever and I will do your bidding.
And I understand that what Andre did as well, right? From NSKN.
Yes, NSKN is one of my most
partners,
most using me the most partners. So very much appreciated all the help, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. And same thanks goes out to Mindclash Games, obviously. Same thanks goes out to Ludi Creations, the guy who discovered me many years ago. So another special place in my heart. And since then the list has been growing. I've now added 2 British publishers, Alicat Games and Plastic Soldier Company, to the mix as well. So plus, while Mighty Boards isn't having me on a monthly basis, but I'm also helping them a lot on a few projects. So
okay, so you've already mentioned 6 companies.
Yes.
And I understand that this basically means that being a full-time developer and designer isn't exactly, just lying on the couch and drinking cocktails while thinking of great new ideas. It's actually proper hard job, right?
It's a really hard job, and every now and then they love to give me the sort of job like, here's this game, we think it's good, can you make sure that it's good? But that's not development work, that's playtesting work, which means there's only so many tricks I can use on my friends to bully them into coming over and playing the games with me.
So you've gained some friends in the industry, and then you probably will lose some real life friends, right? Because of the job.
Quite possible. but basically the trick is find the 2 or 3 that can take it, and then just buy them a day's worth of free food, and then put 7 games one after another in front of them. And
okay, so what is it in your job description in all of these partnerships? So there is understand games development. So somebody comes to you and says, hey, we have this game, just polish it here and there, and it should be better.
How would it be better?
Yeah.
Usually by the time the games make to me, they are at least good. There were 1 or 2 which was like, this game is not yet working, design it into something better, and because I'm a designer, I can help with that. But usually by the time the games make it to me, they are good, but often not great.
Okay. Second thing is playtesting. Yeah, so they throw you a game and say, hey, we don't really know. Could you tell us if it's worth publishing or not? Yes?
Yes. So it's mostly I mostly deal with the what's the one thing we could make a lot better. Like,
all right.
My thing is always the smallest possible change for the biggest possible effect. So, and I like to work with the designers because I think like them, and I call them up like, hey, could I change this in your game? And the nicer ones come back to me, yes. So it's design and development, obviously the big things. I have
designing, basically also designing games, I understand. Yeah, I mean, do you have any partner that is that you're contracted with that says, hey, we will work with you, but you have to bring us a game every year, 1 game? Do you work like that?
Not in those terms, but I have 3 of my publishers have actively asked me to design a game for them, and provided this many players, this budget, this feeling, how Euro-y, how non-Euro-y, how player interactive, how conflict-y. So they often gave me art direction, like this is the art we're going to use for it, make a game where this feeling is appropriate for it. So and it has been quite inspiring, because while I'm a mechanism based designer, I'm not a mechanism first designer. I don't go, ooh, I have this insane new take of deck building with, I don't know, so let's try and do that. I go more from like, I have this theme or this idea or this feeling that I want the players to have, what mechanism represents it best, and how can I do that mechanism a little bit differently than all the others I've played.
Okay. So it's design, development, testing, rules writing, right?
Yes. Although I'm no Paul Grogan, but I can still teach rules if I have to, and I have read and taught hundreds of games. So after a while, figuring out how to turn my teaching into text is not that difficult. And then all they need is a professional English language editor, like not a rules editor, but a text editor afterwards, which comes from the fact that I'm not a native speaker. So as best as I try, I still make weird sentences every now and then. Other than that, I have a few artist friends I've worked quite intensely with on some projects. So some publishers like to make me the point of contact, because the boss person is too busy above a certain size to deal with this kind of things. The day-to-day operation guy is not gonna pay attention to, oh, but that icon must be not that kind of crown, but that sort of building, because that actually clicks better with the game. So it's my job to describe to the artist, what's he drawing, then follow up, is it done, but then the final approval goes to the project manager or the boss, depending on the size of the project and the company.
Okay, but you also design solo models, right?
Yes, and that grew out from the design and the development bit. That during the design of Anachrony, I stumbled onto a way to make good solo modes for certain kind of interactive multiplayer games. And because the people liked it, I was like, okay, let's do it again. And I did a bit simpler one for Petrichor, my greatest friend David Kirkhope's game with Mighty boards, and then afterwards it sort of just followed from there. And
okay, so from what I understand, you're doing like a 6-man job in a week time. So
yes,
you've dropped software engineering full-time job to get 6 other jobs in one full-time job for the same kind of salary. Was it a smart decision?
Yes. Well, first of all, it's not yet the same kind of salary. Hopefully, by next year, all my current ongoing projects will drop, and then the curve will level out. But I am trying to do more quality and less quantity. I am not being called up to say we have this 1 billion things needed to be done. Do them all. I am more being called up as a consultant.
So you're not just a regular soldier, you're a proper sharpshooter, yeah? When a really bad guy needs to be shot down, they call you.
Maybe. Hopefully.
That's fantastic. That sounds like a small boy's dream.
or a big boy's dream.
Yeah, and you're doing what you really like. So what I think that what comes from this short conversation, the message that comes out is that follow your dreams, and we have to warn you, they might come true. Right?
Yes, but the trick is lots of work, being able to learn, and it's okay if you were wrong in the past, and it's okay to say, oh God, I was an idiot, as long as you can tell the difference. Like, I was not born an expert anywhere near this, and the only reason I know this is because either I've done them wrong and learned from it, or I've seen people do them right next to me. I was like, ooh. So, be nice to as many people around you as possible, because that's why I got these lovely publishers supporting me, because I was nice to them once. And other than that, be smart and confident when you have something, and then just say oops when you messed up. And to me, that's the trick.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you for sharing these thoughts with us. And now we're going to move to the great games we played lately. And I'm sure there are some games that you played lately and you really believe they're worth sharing with others, right? So what was like, let's talk about 3 each. So what would be the first game that you played lately and you'd like to tell people like, oh, this is cool?
Well, most recently, other than prototypes, I've only had time to play Gloomhaven with my brother, but I'm not going to talk about that because everybody knows about Gloomhaven. I'm going to mention a game I played last week with a couple of friends, Empires: Age of Discovery. It's the rework of Age of Empires 3 by
yeah, is the game when you're like sending those little miniatures to the new world and just doing stuff there, right? Like colonies and trading.
Worker placement game, but at the end of the day, that worker placement turns into an area control game, and it's one of those old school worker placement games where player interaction is not a bad word.
Okay.
And you can mess with other people, you can screw them out, like you can really hurt, you can really miss a step, whereas most of today's worker placements is optimization games, and even my own stuff is often optimization games. But there are a few games from like a decade ago, Kalos being my favorite of the genre.
I hate Kalos. I mean, I love the publisher, I love Ishtari, and I love the Ishtari Originals line, but Kalos is such an unforgiving game that, in like 1/3 of the game, you might know that you will lose. And this just breaks my heart.
It's a friendly game. I said mechanically, the fact that they could take a pure worker placement mechanism and turn it into one of the most interactive and most punchy games I've ever seen. Age of Empires is not as punchy as Kalos, because war is more of a threat in it than an actual war. I've played it now 3 or 4 times, and I've seen 2 battles and 0 wars so far. But I've decided that next time I'm playing, I'm gonna try out the war strategy because I just want to see it happen. But it's more the threat of the war that always looms over you, and even without that, it's the I don't actually want to go to that location, but now that you've gone there, I'll go there again just so you can't go there twice. And the difference between doing an action and not doing an action is so huge that everything really matters, and I really like these tight.
I know what you mean, because the game I want to talk about is a proper Euro game. It's a Prodigals Club by Mr. Vladimir Suchy. And
I played Last Will, but not Prodigals Club, so I can picture it.
Last Will is a game for kiddos, okay? It's an undeveloped, smelly, small, tiny Euro game. Prodigals Club is the thing. It blows your head. It's just blows your mind. It's so demanding. Every single decision you make will influence your final outcome. It's a marvelous game with so many different approaches to it. You're playing like 3 games at the same time, because you have the Last Will is like only one part of the game where you're losing money, but you're also losing friends, and you're losing also like political support. So you're trying to balance it all out, because at the end of the game, your score is the track where you did the worst, which is the best, as in where you've lost it's just amazing. And this designer, I mean, Pulsar and Shipyard are one of the best games ever designed, and Prodigals Club is among those games, so go and play it. Okay, so what was your second game?
I try it out. I recently showed one of my prototypes around to a few publishers, and one of them said, "Ooh, this feels like a Vladimir Suchy game." I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can totally see where you're coming from. The second one I've played a couple of times again recently is the game called The Expanse. Jeff Engelstein, I think that's how he's called.
It's WizKids, right?
It's WizKids, yes. It's
I love the TV series. The TV series was really cool.
Of course, the TV series is the greatest thing since Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, that's a lot to say, my friend. That's a lot to say.
Yes, and the second greatest thing since Babylon 5.
Okay.
And it's weird because I have played many WizKids games in the past, and they were always beautiful, and they were always highly produced, and there was always something wrong with them. And now comes Expanse, and similarly another WizKids production of last year, Sidereal Confluence. They are amazing games, and yet the graphic design and the component quality of Expanse is one of the worst I've seen.
A friend of mine came recently to our office, NSKN's office, and asked if we don't have any spare spaceships from Exodus. And we gave them the spaceships, and he's like, and I'm like, what do you need them for? He's like, well, I bought Expanse, and I just can't look at it. So I'm using those little spaceships instead of the markers they have in the game. But I understand that the game itself, the mechanism of the game is really good.
The game itself is I can't explain it in any other way than Twilight Struggle meets Through the Ages. And I just named, these days they are what, top 2 and top 4, but they used to be top 1 and 2, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So because
okay.
it's an area control game where the players determine the time and place of scoring, but the actions are drafted from a card market.
Okay. So my second game would be probably I think Shadespire. Shadespire was one of those games I played lately, and I had so much fun. And Shadespire is Games Workshop game. It's basically set in the Warhammer setting. It's a quick skirmish game, but it's basically a Euro deck builder that uses map, battle kind of fighting thing. And I had a friend who brought it to the table. He prepared the decks for both of us, and we played it. I didn't have to do anything with it, so I had just so much fun. I was playing orcs. I was just running around the map, screaming horde for horde, and just bashing his corn acolytes over their heads, and it was super fun. The game is really neat. It plays in 3 rounds. In each round, you have 4 actions, so it's basically 12 actions per player. And that's it. So it has this feeling of LCG games, like Android Netrunner or Star Wars or anything or something like that. But it also adds this skirmish element with a map and miniatures. It's really neat. And if you feel like LCGs are for you, then you should definitely try it, because the miniatures, you don't have to glue them. They come in parts, but you just like click them together. And so it's cool for me because I'm like super non-manual guy, and painting is out of the question. But putting them together, I have this game Blood Bowl, and I love Skaven guys, so I have the Skavens, and you click them. But then I also thought, oh, I want to have a rat ogre, and you actually have to glue the bastard. And oh my god, after 3 hours of being like glued to myself, I was like, no, I just gave it to Błażej, to a friend from NSKN. I was like, Błażej, help out, please help. And he glued it for me. And I had glue under my fingernails for like a week. No good. So basically, Shadespire, you gotta play. All right, what's your third game?
I've just realized completely by chance that 2 of my 3 games are Twilight Struggle, but with card drafting, because my third pick is Wir sind das Volk, Volk's 2+2 expansion.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the original game, Wir sind das Volk. It's, sorry for the terrible German pronunciation, I do not speak the fair language. It's about...
no worries, guys. We'll put the link, in the W beneath, so you'll know what game he's talking about right now.
It's East Germany versus West Germany. And the original game...
That's Volk. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, now I understand what you're talking about.
Okay, and the original game is the easiest, if you haven't played it, the easiest way of picturing it is that both of you are playing Power Grid, and your Power Grids are attacking each other.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I played a game like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and I have to say that it didn't really got to me. I mean, I was like, it's not Twilight Struggle. It's not near it, right?
And this is where the expansion comes in. 2+2 turns it into a 4-player game where each side has 2 players, one playing the Germany and one playing the superpower behind Germany, US versus the Soviets.
All right.
And Germany wins if their side wins, but their superpower loses, because then the superpower...
And they are independent.
Because then the superpower doesn't have enough spare strength to control the German side. And I've played it 4 times over the past half year, and I've lost every time, usually to my teammate. Regardless of whether I was the superpower or the Germany. But it takes the power greedy base game and knocks it up by 7 notches, because now it's not only, I need to improve my infrastructure and this is the best way to do it, but should I improve the infrastructure or should I let my body do the improving? and for the first 2 rounds, it's complete team play. For the 3rd round, the cracks are showing. And in the 4th round, you're basically talking more to your opponent than to your friend, because your friend has just become your greatest enemy.
Okay, so that sounds really cool. I want to play it now. I mean, I really want to play it now. So I hope that when we meet, you'll teach me the game.
Well, it's luckily quite small, so if you want, I can drop it into my suitcase.
Oh, fantastic! You'll be coming, I think, around our place in the end of the month, right?
Indeed, because there's more work to be done with NSKN. Great games to play next year.
Okay, my third game is Age of Steam. I know it's an old game, but I play it every year. This time I played on South Africa map with 5 players. It was a proper mess. I mean, the game is so hard. It just melts my brains. And every year I play it, I'm like so happy that I had a chance to play it, and I'm so happy that I will not have to play it for the next year, because my head probably wouldn't be able to take it. But if you're looking for the pickup and delivery game, like the utmost one, the absolutely ultimate pickup and delivery game, then Age of Steam is a thing. I don't think it's Steam. I don't think it's Railways of the World. I don't even really think it's the 18xx games. Age of Steam is what you're looking for. So if you have a chance, play it. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is a hidden pearl. I know that you have a game that you believe is one of the best games in its genre, but it doesn't really get enough spotlight, right?
Yes, indeed. I'm on a crusade to make people know about this game, and so far I've taught it to 4 different groups of my friends. One of them next day posted a picture on Facebook with him buying the game, saying, "David, it's your fault." And
so
the other,
what is the game?
Yes, this is Nigel Buckle's Omega Centauri. It was published a couple of years back. The one sentence pitch is Eclipse without the randomness, but I think it's so much more because it also doesn't have turtle strategy in it really. The game carefully changes the incentivization of you're not always best to attack your opponents. You can attack the neutral board, but every now and then you have to attack because then it becomes cheaper to attack your opponents than the board. It's a space 4X. It's absolutely luckless. The battle can be determined before starting the battle who will win. So it's just like, will I win? No. Will I win if I attack with one more ship? Yes, but I don't have another ship to spare. Okay, then I'm not attacking. It's magnificent game. It's plagued by a terrible rulebook and a terrible graphic design, which is why it's my hope that in the near future something might be done to it to resurrect it. And I think this is the point where, without asking you, I'll also happily plug the fact that NSKN had the wisdom of picking up Nigel's second game, Imperium, which is something I've been playing for the past 2 weeks, and it's one of those games that the first time you play it, you go like, yeah, this is nice, and then you play it again, and then you go like, And then now,
to be honest, I had a chance to play Imperium with Adam Kwapinski, the author of Nemesis and Lords of Hellas, and he said that this is the best game he's played in like 18 months. So it says something about it.
Yes, so that's what Nigel does. He takes 6 years to design a game, but when he drops a game, it's that good.
So Omega Centauri, yes, this is a game you guys should play because David actually says this is one of the best games ever made.
I mean, Twilight Imperium, 6 players takes you a day. This only goes up to 4 player, but as somebody asked me, hey, should we play Twilight Imperium? My immediate response was, can we play 2 Omega Centuries in the same time instead?
True. Okay, that sounds really great. Thank you, David. Thank you for coming to us today. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for, Trickerion. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to see each other quite soon again in an NSKN Small Talk. It's been a pleasure. Have a great day and have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.